Storing data in the cloud. It feels so simple, right? Almost invisible. But behind that easy interface is a cost that can quietly spiral out of control. Well, today, we're going to pull back that curtain on cloud storage costs and show you how one fundamental choice can save you a fortune. So, let's dig in and figure out where those costs are really hiding. And look, when I say these costs can spiral, I am not exaggerating. First off, let's just wrap our heads around the sheer scale we're dealing with here. I mean, the money pouring into public cloud services, it's not just growing, it's just exploding.
Okay, so what's truly staggering here is just the speed of all this spending. A 23% average growth rate year over year, that's massive. We're talking about a market that's set to blow past $600 billion. And a huge, often overlooked chunk of that money is for just one thing: storing your data.
So, this all brings us to the most important question, because it's not just about how much you're storing, but how you're storing it. Are you really actually paying for the right kind of storage for the job? And that right there, that's the core of what we're talking about today. It's this fundamental choice between the two main ways cloud providers let you store data. Trust me, this isn't just some techie detail. This is a choice that has massive financial consequences. Okay, so let's break this down. Block storage. Think of it like the physical hard drive that's inside your computer. It breaks files into these fixed-size chunks or blocks, which makes it incredibly fast for stuff that needs to read and write data quickly, like a database. Now, object storage, that's totally different. It's more like a giant valet service for your data. You just hand over a whole file, photo, a video, a giant log file as a single object. The service takes it, parks it somewhere safe, and just gives you back a little ticket, a unique ID to find it later. It's absolutely perfect for huge files that you're not going to change very often. That makes it super scalable and way, way cheaper for storing massive amounts of data. All right, let's zoom in on block storage first. People often call it the high-performance workhorse, and for good reason. It's the power behind some of the most demanding apps you'll find in the cloud. So block storage has been around for a while. It's one of the oldest, most fundamental ways to store data. The concept is really simple. Your data gets chopped up and stored in these evenly sized chunks, or blocks. And that structure is exactly what gives it its raw speed and flexibility. It's why, to an operating system, it feels just like a local hard drive. So how does it actually work? Well, it's basically a few simple steps. First, a file gets split into those fixed-size blocks. Then, each and every one of those blocks gets its own unique address, kind of like a house number on a street. Then, the file system on your app organizes all these blocks into something called a volume. And that volume gets attached directly to your server. And that direct connection? That's the secret sauce right there.
So that leads us right into its biggest advantages. Remember that direct connection we just talked about? Well, that means you get incredibly low latency. Super important for apps that need to be fast. Plus, you can change just a tiny piece of a file without having to rewrite the whole thing. I mean, that is so much more efficient. And finally, these volumes can be easily replicated, so your data is safe even if some piece of hardware decides to fail.
Okay, so we've got this super powerful, high-speed tool. But how does knowing all this actually save you money? Well, it really all comes down to making smart choices based on what you actually need. So when do you use block storage? You reach for it when speed is absolutely critical. Running a database that's getting hit with reads and writes all the time? Yep, this is your solution. Same thing for containers. Those little software packages? They need fast storage that sticks around. And really, for any application that needs super low latency, we're talking less than a millisecond response time, block storage is without a doubt the champ. And here is the financial punchline. This research here shows that if you just blindly pick one type of storage for everything, like using that pricey, high-performance block storage for all your data, you could be paying over 4 times more than you need to. The real secret to saving cash isn't about picking one winner. It's about creating a smart mix, using the right tool for the right job. And hey, just to make this super practical, here are the actual service names you'll see from the big 3 cloud providers. So on AWS, you're looking for Amazon EBS. Over on Google Cloud, it's called Persistent Disk. And with Azure, it's Azure Managed Disks. They all pretty much work on the same core ideas we've been talking about.
Okay, let's bring this all together now. The whole point here isn't to just pick a service off a menu. It's about building a real, thought-out strategy for your data.
This quote really gets to the heart of a smart cloud strategy. Block and object storage, they're not fighting each other. They're meant to work together. So for example, you might use that super fast block storage for your active database, right? Where every millisecond counts. But then for the giant backups of that same database, you'd use the much cheaper object storage because you don't need to get to them as fast. See? They really do work hand in hand.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's this. Stop thinking about just picking one storage service. You need to start thinking like an architect. Really look at what your application needs, its workload, and then purposefully match each part of it to the right kind of storage. That right there is where you'll find the real savings and the best performance.
And that leaves us with one last question to think about. I want you to take a hard look at your own cloud bill. Is your storage setup a finely tuned asset that's actually powering your business? Or is it a hidden liability, just quietly draining your budget month after month? The choice really is yours.